Sterling Properties of Santa Barbara proudly presents Ken Boxer Live. From the American Riviera in Santa Barbara, California, it's Ken Boxer Live with your host, Ken Boxer, and co-host, two-time Olympian Tai Babilonia. Please welcome Ken and Tai.
Welcome. You're watching Ken Boxer Live. I'm Ken Boxer, but let me introduce to you my lovely and very talented co-host, the two-time Olympian, five-time national champion, and one-time world champion figure skater. Very talented and lovely, as I said, Tai Babilonia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I heard that you are on the cover of a magazine called Rockfiz.
Rockfiz. It's a new magazine, and I was approached actually through Facebook. Social networking is very powerful, and he offered me the cover. It was like a 5-page interview, and it's lovely. So thank you, Rockfiz magazine.
All right. Congratulations.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Well, who's on the show this evening?
Oh my goodness. Oh, this is surreal, first of all. This was the show our guest was on. It was a show that I was obsessed with. I had a crush on the little boy character, and I had a crush on the father. Courtship of Eddie's father was a major hit in the 70s. And with us tonight is Brandon Cruz, the star of that show.
Yes.
It's so exciting. So don't go away. We'll be right back with Brandon Cruz.
Yes.
Ken Boxer Live is brought to you in part by the Wildcat Lounge, repeatedly voted Santa Barbara's best dance club. The Eagle Inn, a family-owned hotel near the beach in Santa Barbara. And by American Riviera Bank, smart banking for smart people. Now back to Ken Boxer Live.
Thank you. And we are back. Joining us this evening is the actor Brandon Cruz, who most of us remember as the adorable little Eddie Corbett from the iconic television show, The Courtship of Eddie's Father. I hear the giggles. Okay. Later in his career, Brandon delighted his fans as the lead singer of the punk rock band, the Dead Kennedys. We are so delighted that Brandon is with us this evening. So let's now welcome the talented actor and singer, Brandon Cruz. Welcome. So nice to have you here.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you. Now, how did you connect?
Through Butch, one of your best friends, Butch Patrick.
Yeah.
It was so simple. It was I think he mentioned it because I have his number. Call him. It was as simple as that.
There's
And
a
this
whole
is like
network of ex-kid actors that we kind of look out for.
Yes,
each
you
other.
guys
It's
are like
hey,
a
do
close,
this gig, do that gig.
like a close-knit family.
Yeah.
I
love
always
that.
ask this to our guests. Is this your first time in Santa Barbara tonight?
Oh no, I'm from Oxnard. I've been up here a lot. I surf here. Anytime Rincon's breaking, you know, I come to Santa Barbara a lot.
Oh,
Great.
fantastic.
Great.
So I want to go back now to that Eddie Corbett life that you had. It was only on, you said, before the show aired tonight, you said it was on only for 3 years, but it seems like it was on a lot longer.
Yeah, well, we did the pilot in '68, and the show filmed from '69 to '72. There's 73 episodes available. Season 1, 2, and 3, they're available on DVD. Just go online, Google it. And that's what's out there.
Well, how did that whole show come about?
Did you have to? How was the auditioning process? A lot of
For
little
you.
boys. Like
I don't know exactly how many people. I've heard 300. I've heard 30. I heard Mike Lookenland was going to get the part. Who was Bobby Brady?
I heard that.
Yeah.
Yes,
but,
I've heard that.
There was this company that kind of took a lot of money from a lot of families, and they had an ad in the paper.
Go ahead, name the
It
company.
was called Take One Productions.
There we go.
There we go.
Wow.
Take One Productions, and they had an ad in the paper. And I used to always say when I was living in Oxnard, when I'm on TV, not if, but when, because I
Interesting.
wanted to do it
You
so
knew.
badly.
But wait a second, how
And
old were you when you were saying this?
5.
Okay.
4 and 5. I did a play in Oxnard at the community center. I was Toto. So I crawled around and barked, and I guess that was good. I did that very well. And my parents took me to Take One Productions My mom was pregnant with my youngest brother. They had videotape at the time, 1968. So videotape was like, wow, this is magic.
Right.
So they videotaped me and they put my picture in the window. And a man who worked for James Comack, the producer of Courtship of Eddie's Father, walked by, saw my picture, said, "Oh, that could be Eddie." Went in, got my contact info.
Right.
My grandparents had to take me because my mom was sick or giving birth to my brother. I forget what the exact thing was. And so my grandparents took me. I walked in. I couldn't read. I had the script upside down. I walk in to an auditorium. I remember there were a few hundred kids in there. Auditorium in Culver City, right by the old MGM studios that's still there on Washington.
Yes.
And I walked in. They realized I couldn't read because I was just out of kindergarten. And they said, you know what, walk to the door, turn around, look at Bill and say, "Daddy, I love you." I'm like, well, which one's Bill? And I did
Great
it.
story.
I did it, and they took me by the hand and said, "Where are your parents?" I said, "Well, my grandparents are right there." And they walked up and they said, "We just wanted to thank you for bringing us our new Eddie." And a couple weeks later, I was on the set doing Courtship of Eddie's Father.
Okay, but
I love that.
But the question
That's a
lends
great
itself now is, how did you learn your lines then if you couldn't read?
Memorizing.
Yeah, I just remembered what they said. It's like, okay, Bill says this, and then I say that, and we drove from Oxnard to Culver City every day, so we had a lot of time to, read the lines.
But it's got to be difficult. I mean, 5 years old, aren't you kind of learning how to tie your shoes about that?
Yeah, but I learned to read from the scripts. I'm saying this, and I guess that's what it looks like. So I learned to read on the set from the scripts.
And you loved it. Did you love it from day one?
No,
the whole atmosphere and Bill Bixby.
It was so fun. I was the only kid on the set. I got away with murder.
Did you have school on the
Butch
set?
Patrick
I had school.
said that too.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
During the first hiatus, 1969, I did a film with Wayne Newton, Aaron Moran from Happy Days, Butch Patrick. So I was 6. Butch was, he'll kill me, 16. He had a Boss 302 Mustang, and he would drive himself to the set.
It wasn't.
So Butch is 10 years older than me, but he will not admit it.
Yeah,
it's okay.
we won't say
But
anything.
we have a clip that we put together with you and Jodie Foster.
Jodie was doing some
Priceless.
acting before. She had been on a couple of shows. She did 7 episodes of Eddie's Father.
Okay, but she doesn't look like she could be more than, 5 or 6 herself in this, right?
I think we're the same age. Yeah.
Okay.
I may be a little older. I'll give Jodie that.
Okay, well, let's watch Brandon
So great.
Cruz, Courtship
Love
of Eddie's
this.
Father. Let's watch.
You can take my plate now. I'm finished. Bring me some cake, please. Pour me some tea, please. Your arm's not broken. Pour it yourself. You're the woman. You're supposed to give it to me. All right, here it is.
When's the last time you saw that?
Brandon Cruz.
I don't know when the last time I saw that is. That takes me back. I mean, I remember some of the episodes so perfectly.
This
like
one?
It was yesterday. That one, not so much. I remember Jodie. I remember being there, and I remember doing that, and my mom saying, "That is wrong." I mean, you couldn't get away with that now.
That's true.
I mean, Miyoshi was portrayed as very subservient.
Right.
And they were trying to teach Jodie to be that way.
Right.
That was
She's a little rough
not
around the
cool.
edges, that Jodie.
That was, well, because she hit me a lot.
Right.
That was the thing. She was a bully, and she hit me. But
Oh my goodness, I love that. And Bill Bixby, I've read, he was like your second father.
yeah. I
Father figure.
I stayed at his house in Malibu on weekends. I was already into surfing and playing in the ocean. He
Right.
lived in Malibu, so I would go and body surf out there, and he'd say, get out, you're gonna get hurt.
Just the chemistry between the two of you. It was so. It's not like you were acting. You were such a natural.
It was
a kid.
It was real because
it was real.
Bill stood by the no acting claim. Just if I started to, like Sammy Davis Jr. came in and did a part. He flew in from Vegas. He walks in with his cigarette and his martini, and his hips looking cool, and he's got rings and gold and everything and diamonds, and he's Sammy Davis Jr.
Exactly.
And he goes into makeup and wardrobe, and he comes out, and Bill always shot the rehearsals. And James Comack and Bill and I were in the elevator, and we were supposed to get stuck in the elevator.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, we're going to rehearse, roll it. Sammy, first line, and he's this nebbish little accountant. And I'm just staring at him, like, what happened to Sammy? This guy ate Sammy. And I have the next line. And Bill's like, what, cut? I think Brandon just saw acting for the first time.
Oh,
so
interesting.
in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I'm going to act.
Like Sammy.
So the next take, I come up with some weird voice and mannerism, and they're like, stop, no acting. Wow. So Bill wanted me to be a 6-7-year-old kid, which is exactly what I was.
That's
But when
exactly
you
what
look,
you were.
when
yeah.
you look at yourself, seeing in these early shows, do you seem divorced from it, or do you really feel like that was you? Can you remember that as being that was you, or is it kind of
I was not
just a
Eddie.
distant memory?
I wasn't Eddie. I played Eddie on TV. That was a weird thing to separate that, because I would have to go to schools to get assignments in between, different breaks in filming and whatnot. And I would go to these schools, and half the school wanted my autograph, the other half wanted to beat me up. So,
really?
And I was like,
my
look,
goodness.
I'm not that goody kid. Like
You had to convince
I'm
them.
from Oxnard. I'm from the beach.
I'm normal.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Wait, did
normal.
you actually-
But I had to overemphasize it and
Right.
be like, well, no, I do bad stuff.
Right.
And
Play it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
I'm a bad boy.
But I wasn't
I'm
real
bad.
good at being bad. So,
Right.
I failed miserably. But I could surf or skateboard or ride a bike. And it's like, okay, well, all right, Mr. Movie Star, which I never starred in a movie, and I would get into arguments with my friends about that. But it's like, can you ride a wheelie for 2 telephone poles? So
And you could.
I could. And
And that made
will
it
you paddle
okay.
out when the
But
waves
did you
are
go to
big?
public
Like,
school?
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I did.
During the show?
Well, most of the time I was on the set doing, with a private tutor, and I accelerated because I wasn't in every shot. So they would bank hours. Sometimes I would go to school for 8 hours straight, and it's just one kid, one teacher. And I went through, well, by the time I finished Bad News Bears in '75, I was 13. I was pretty much done with high school.
Well, really, Jerry
Yeah.
Mathers said he made sure he'd go to public school right after Leave It to Beaver ended. He
It was
didn't.
a different era. Jerry, I don't know how God, I wouldn't have wanted to go to school as the Beaver. That would have been
deserves a
weird.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding.
No,
That
it
would've
was
been-
hard enough going to school as Eddie,
Right.
because friends of mine, would hassle me about, oh, what do you think, you're too good for us? You're all rich. I'm
Kids
like,
are vicious.
I made $150 a week for Eddie's father the first year. That was not a lot of money.
Right.
The second year it was renegotiated. It
I would think so.
It got a little better.
Yeah.
But $150 a week. I mean, it was.
Obviously, the kids were
bucks an
jealous.
hour.
They were jealous. You were different.
Well, all the girls liked me, all the guys hated me.
Right.
Except for the ones that were really good friends of mine. And then once the girls got to see that I had to be a jerk so the guys would like me, then the girls wouldn't like me, then nobody did.
Oh, you poor thing.
And then I would.
Sybil.
But I was around adults all the time.
Right.
Right.
And I was always reading, and in 1970 we got to go to Budapest and film.
the show?
Yeah, no, for a circus special that
Oh,
Bill
okay.
and I hosted.
Okay.
And then I got to go to France, and I got to go to London after that. And then in '72 I went to Israel to film a movie with Topol and Clara Bloom and Melvin
you're
Douglas.
talking about that.
And I'm going to school in bombed out buildings that are overlooking we're walking the Via Dolorosa to the school, and then I'm seeing the Wailing Wall and the Dome of the Rock right out the window. So I saw things that when I came back to a regular school and they're learning history, I'm like,
yeah.
wait, I was there, I lived it.
I went through the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
as a kid.
you know, and I was 4 years ahead of the school.
So did you graduate high school?
Nope.
Nope.
No, I went surfing.
You would, oh,
Were you typecast
surfing graduation.
from Eddie's, the Courtship Eddie's father? I mean, was it hard for you
It's
to get
weird
on the work?
because Eddie's father, I didn't have a mom. The next thing I did was Kung Fu. I didn't have a dad. Gunsmoke, I didn't have a dad. Doc Elliott, I was an orphan. Medical Center, I was an orphan. It wasn't until Bad News Bears, I think, where I actually had a mom and dad, and they didn't like each other. So,
How was the
typecast
segue?
to a bit, but Michael Ritchie, the director of Bad News Bears, said, "This is not Eddie. We don't want you to be Eddie. You're going to be this badass baseball player kid." And I was so happy that he did not want me to be Eddie in that part.
Right, well, I was just going to ask, what was that segue from television to film? The transition.
It all seemed
it's
the
all
same
the same
thing. You know, I'd
yeah.
worked with Jodie when I was a kid, then Tatum came in and it's like, okay, here's another, you know, really well-known and well-rounded actress. And we were just kids. You know, we were just playing baseball, and I wasn't really a baseball guy. That was for my brothers to do in Little League in Oxnard. And I was the skater and the surfer. And I rode some bicycle motocross, and I had a motorcycle. So, you know, I wasn't into that whole team sport thing. I did individual stuff. That's why punk rock really, you know, rang out.
We'll get into that in just
right.
a moment, but
Okay.
we have another clip
Oh God!
of
Now what'd you find?
let's see.
your appearance on
was a great one.
Arsenio Hall.
Oh
Okay, it's the
yeah.
surprising
The surprise.
Bill Bixby. So let's watch that right now.
Okay.
He had no idea.
No, he had no idea.
We were doing a scene. It was in the very first year, probably about the fifth or sixth show, and it was the story essentially was very often parents listen to their children, but they don't really hear them. They don't know what has been said, and that was my fault. I'd been preoccupied, and he was trying to tell me he'd broken a window. Near the end of the show, I find out about it. I say, I'm going to have to punish you. We were doing a scene together when he was trying to explain this to me that he'd told me earlier. He did the scene so well. The camera was over the shoulder onto him. As he was talking, he moved me so much I began to cry. I didn't mean to, but he was just perfect. And in the middle of the scene, he saw the tears coming down. He stopped saying anything, reached out, put his arms around me and said, "It's all right." And suddenly he was the father and I was the son.
That's great, man.
He's a man of character.
Yeah. We got a mystery door over here. Would you help me with that?
Sure.
Brandon Cruz.
Last time. Oh, it's good to see you. Good to see you too. How was your Christmas? Good. Merry Christmas. Happy birthday.
Brandon Cruz is our guest if you're just joining us.
I had hair in that. That was not white.
It
Bill
happens, trust
Bixby.
me.
I read I think you either tweeted or on Facebook, where you are petitioning to raise money to get a star on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood for Bill Bixby, which I'm shocked
Yes.
that he
Yeah.
doesn't have one.
He passed away November 21st, 1993.
Right.
He doesn't have a star
Shocking.
on the Hollywood Walk of
Wrong.
Fame.
Surprise.
So wrong.
Reality TV stars have them.
Yes, they do.
Animals have them. A man who was on My Favorite Martian,
right.
The
Eddie's
Hulk.
father, the Hulk, the Magician, Goodnight Beantown, and started on the Danny Thomas Show, was Emmy nominated for Eddie's father, was Emmy nominated for a guest star on Streets of San Francisco, doesn't have a star. That's a
Something's
crime.
wrong.
That
And
is a
it costs
crime.
$30,000 to get one.
So
Anybody can get one, and some of them have just outright bought them. Now,
Right.
when Johnny Grant was still alive, he was a very good friend,
Yes. Right.
and he was going to help.
Right.
And then he died, and
So
I
who
lost
is it
my
now?
helper. Now it's
don't even know.
crowdsourced funding to
Right.
get Bill a star.
Well, how's it going?
And I haven't started it yet because
Okay.
Okay, let's
I'm
start.
busy doing some
Start
other
now.
stuff right now that we want to tie into it. So I'm doing a
Okay.
book.
Yes,
and
let's
so
talk
we're
about
going to
the
tie it
book.
into that.
yes,
Well,
talk about the book a little.
I'm going to write a book about what it was
Everything.
like from the beginning until what I do now, which is
Great.
completely different than what I did as a kid and as a young adult.
Can we hear about that?
Yeah, actually,
Yes,
a lot of kid actors have written books, and there's celebrity tell-alls, and
Yes.
I slept with this person and that person when I was young, and it screwed me up, and then I did drugs,
Yes.
and then I got sober, and now I need to get my own reality show or something.
Right.
Not to take anything away from any of them, they all have done their books and they have their story, but in the midst of I slept with so-and-so and I did these drugs, I got sober.
Yes.
And then I went a step further and I started working in the drug and alcohol field. So
Awesome.
now I do what is known as a one-on-one or as sober companion work, but I hate that word. I hate that name, the connotation that it brings.
Right.
So I do human restoration. I get the
I like
I get
that.
I get the
I
I get
love
the
that.
person who is in trouble or in crisis, and I live with them in their home for any amount of time. It may be a week, it may be 4 months. I traveled the world doing this.
Really? Wow.
And I've been
Amazing.
doing it
I
for
know that.
thanks. I've been doing it for
Huge.
quite a while, and I
Yeah.
get referrals from doctors and therapists and lawyers and wherever they come from, and I work with a company that is like-minded because I think rehabs. I can't speak poorly about a rehab because they have a lot of good intentions.
Right.
My personal opinion, they tend to overpromise and underdeliver. But if you put a one-on-one with somebody, you're teaching them how to live in the world. Experiential
Right,
therapy.
exactly.
Rehab teaches you how to live in a rehab. You have these $50,000 a month ones in Malibu, and then they go back to
right.
wherever they're from,
Right.
and they have no sober network. They don't know any people.
No
they don't have any
skills.
phone numbers. So I go to where they live, and I look into it, and it gives me a chance to maintain my sobriety, but I'm helping somebody else.
And they know who you
And
are, your background.
Actually,
You know?
they really don't. I mean, I just got back from working with somebody, and I didn't really want anybody to know. I was in a place where I know a lot of people, so I've got the beard going on, and
that's
I can kind of chameleon my way into, from
Right.
jail to Yale.
Well,
I
some
love
people
that.
don't know that you were,
I
I
commend
mentioned
you.
it at the beginning, that you were with the Dead Kennedys, another band called Dr. No.
Yeah, Dr. No started in Oxnard in 1981, part of the Nardcore scene because they called punk hardcore. So we're from Oxnard, so it became Nardcore.
Okay.
That was 81. Dead Kennedys were friends of mine. Ended up not having a singer. We're going to do a record release party. And they asked me through another band that I had filled in for named Flipper. And so we did the one-off show. And
Right.
it went well. And a guy came backstage and said, "How would you guys like to be in Brazil in 6 weeks?" And we were like, I
yeah.
only know 7 songs. And he's like, "We'll learn 10 more." And we did it. And for 2.5 years, I traveled the world with Dead Kennedys.
Really?
Replacing Jello Biafra, the original singer. And I had a blast until I separated my shoulder and broke all my teeth out.
How?
Falling off a stage and getting hit with a microphone. And
Sounds like it was part of your act.
Oh my God.
no, it
No.
wasn't an act.
The
No,
punk rock?
no, that was not
No?
part of the
He
act.
slipped.
It was.
Missed a step.
Maybe in '81 it was part of the act when I was, doing the whole experimentation with the drugs and alcohol. But no, I traveled the world sober, for a while, and it was
So
amazing.
inspiring.
Which did you
I-
enjoy more? The singing in front of a live audience or behind the camera?
Or acting.
I liked both. Acting I haven't really done unless somebody calls, like Rob Zombie called and said, "Hey, do you want to be in my movie?" And I went down, and it took
Right.
5 days for him to get to me, but
It's Rob Zombie.
it was a nice check. Hung out with Rob,
Right.
sure, great, no
right.
problem.
Wait, isn't there? Sorry, I'm so bad at that. I have so many questions. You and a lot of the other actors from the past are doing a project.
Oh yeah, we did a
What is
pilot,
that?
Life Interrupted. Mason Reese, the Underwood Deviled Ham kid
Yes,
from way
yeah.
back, the little
Of course.
redheaded guy.
Sure,
She's a good friend. Who else? Aaron Murphy from Bewitched, and
Aaron's been on.
She's been on the show. Bill Mooney,
Marianne from Don
Gilligan's-
Wells,
yes.
Gilligan's Island,
Right.
and
It's a lot. It's a big group.
Allison Ingram from Little
Little
House.
House, yes.
And God, who else was in it? Robbie Wrist. Cousin
Robbie
Oliver.
Wrist. Robbie's
so
great.
a bunch of us misfit kids got together and we did this pilot. So what happens? I don't know.
Right.
But
But
there's
you had
some
a-
good intentions behind it.
Yeah.
It was
Time.
fun. We hung out. I played a guy in a band. real rough stretch.
That's all
Well,
right.
Ty's been advocating getting a lot of our former guests, like you, for
I want
instance,
to do a round
Bill
table.
Mooney,
Yeah.
Jerry Mathers.
Yeah,
And
all
it's
friends.
really, yeah.
Right.
I mean, for little kids who want to be actors, suggestions on.
Don't do it.
Really?
Don't.
You're
No,
serious?
Go to school. Go to school.
Okay, that's honest.
Become an ophthalmologist.
So you're telling
everybody's
us,
Wow.
everybody's like this
You're
in the
telling
screen
us-
and blowing their eyes out. Every 14-year-old
Right.
needs
you
glasses.
wouldn't do it again? This path that you took, you would not take the
You're going to
Courtship
bring
Eddie-
back the 60s? I'll do it again.
No, would you do Courtship Eddie's father again, if you had the chance? I mean, going back in time, would you have taken that path?
Any
and-
regrets?
Yes, but I would have a lawyer.
Right.
Things would be renegotiated. I have no regrets about anything that I did. In a roundabout way, because I was famous and I got to do an episode of Geraldo, I met my wife. She saw me
she's
on
a
lovely
Geraldo,
wife.
and she's out here now. And we've been married 20 years.
We're going to have to say goodbye.
And
How'd
have
you
2
do
kids.
it?
We're going to have to say goodbye.
No,
Yes.
we're not. We're going to
I
keep
travel a lot.
Brandon.
That's how we keep it.
Okay. No.
Time has gone by.
Hey, thank you.
No.
Thank you so much. You'll come back?
Of course.
We got a lot to
great.
talk
Of course.
about. All right.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you, Brandon.
Well, that's it
Oh
for
my
another
God, that's
edition
so
of
great,
Ken
sweetheart.
Boxer Live. So don't miss our
take-
next show when we have one of Hollywood's true legends joining us. Actress Kim Darby will be here. This should be a great show that you don't want to miss this show. Okay, so far our guests, Brandon Cruz, Tai Babilonia, and our director, George Montalvo, and the entire Ken Boxer Live crew. I'm Ken Boxer, of course, saying good night, everybody. Thank you.
Ken Boxer Live is brought to you by the following sponsors. Sterling Properties of Santa Barbara, hometown feel, world-class service. American Riviera Bank, smart banking for smart people. Palazzo Restaurant, where people don't leave hungry or thirsty. The Wildcat Lounge, repeatedly voted Santa Barbara's best dance club. Harborview Inn, welcome to Santa Barbara's premier 4-diamond luxury boutique oceanfront hotel. Wendy Foster, Santa Barbara and Montecito's premier clothing store. The Eagle Inn, a family-owned hotel near the beach in Santa Barbara. Via Rosa Inn, let us pamper you in international style. And by Taffy's Pizza, delivery, pickup, or dine in. Woody's Bodacious Barbecue, voted best barbecue in Santa Barbara for over 30 years. Santa Barbara Chicken Ranch, authentic Mexican style, mesquite barbecue. Santa Barbara Bar, finally, nutritious tastes great. Country Catering, Meat Market, and Deli. Their food not only fills your plate, it nourishes the soul. Jack's Bagels and Bistro, serving the very best food in a friendly and relaxed atmosphere. Quality food and genuine drinks. Jill's Place, where the locals go to eat. Bird Dog Mercantile, from celebrity chef Kat Cora. Sammy's Camera, new location at 530 State Street. Perfect Computers since 1990. The Ken Boxer Live musical theme by Mr. Michael J. Leslie. From all of us at Ken Boxer Live, I'm Baron Ron Heron. Good night, everyone.